Okay, that's now all done. 600 holes, all dug, ready for planting. Saturday the 21st. We're planting out on Wednesday coming. I've just added the second part of the base dressing into the holes, which you can just about see scattered in there. And I've scattered it over the top as well, so once we backfill those holes, we're bringing in the fertilizer with it. So it's now a case of just putting a sprinkler on again, just for probably about an hour a spot to activate the fertilizer and to try to get a bit more water into the ground, because as you can see it's still very dry. The first bit helped, but I think we're going to need some more. I don't like drowning them too much once they're planted. I'd rather get the moisture in the ground first. So part of the second base dressing that goes in once the holes are dug, this year I'm trying Lawn Builder. I manage a garden centre for a living, so I get to read the packets of a lot of fertilisers, and I'm not worried whether it's called Lawn Builder or it could be Tomato Builder or Weed Builder. The only thing I'm interested in is the build up of it. It's got a NPK of 22, 2.2, 4.2, so it's obviously high in nitrogen. Lasts about 8 weeks, up to 10. Which should be fine. By the time this is fit tailing off, I'll be going in with the potash anyway, so it's giving another nitrogen boost into the ground. So that's gone on at a rate of 2 ounces per square metre, which is about what it suggests. Bearing in mind I've already put in the fairy dust or the humo-start, and I have also added in just a pinch of humo-start or fairy dust per planting hole, using only really about 2 of those for all 600. So that's the second one, and will be the last. Also I will water it in just to take the sting out of it, and then whether I'll use any more granular fertiliser as the plants grow, I shall decide nearer the time based on whether I think the plants look like they need it. Just about to start sorting out the plants to the ones I will be planting, so just taking the oddments out, any ones that I don't like, if I've got anything I'm not happy with, won't get planted. Just before I do that, while the plants are all together, I'd like to give them pretty much their first spray of the season. I don't like to spray too often too early. I think you can build up an immunity, and I'll just use something as simple as a bug clear. I have got some more powerful chemicals that I sort of save for if there's a need, but again, I think if you go in too early with them, it starts building up an immunity to them. So bug clear will do the trick. That will clear any aphid and earwigs that are about, and it's just easier while the plants are all grouped rather than at 2 foot spacings in the ground. Just use a knapsack sprayer for ease. About 5 litres will give all the plants a good spray. Sunday the 22nd, just starting now to go through and select the plants for planting. I'm going to start with Winholm Dine, as I've got the most of it and the most choice. I'll show you a few examples of what I will be happy to plant, and if I've got the choice, ones that I would try to avoid. This one being one that I'm happy. You can see it's a nice young fresh plant, nice big leaves, nice and soft, and the stem hasn't hardened at all at the base. It stands probably about 7 inches in the pot, and I'll be happy to put that with the others for planting. Now one here, you can see the top leaves are just a bit distorted. That could be food, a little bit too much, or it could be a little bit of attack from aphid, but generally if I can avoid that, I will. This one, as you can see, is still soft. The stem at the base hasn't actually hardened. Still got the original cutting leaves there, but it is a tall, leggy plant, disjointed. It's going to take the brunt of the wind as we get in now, and won't enjoy itself. This one it's very dark in the foliage at the top and light at the base, and this plant is probably suffering from a little bit of root rot, and I'm sure if we could knock it out, which I struggle to do one-handed, you'll find there won't be a lot of root there, so we'll avoid that. And the last one, it's a nice big strong plant that's probably starting to bud in the centre. Not a problem, you know, if I'm struggling for plants, I'd rather plant one of these just starting to form the bud than one of the previous ones, because it, you know, there's no health problems with it, but it is a big plant and it is starting to harden at the bottom. Not too much. I mean, the seed leaves go in the end, and I just generally take those off. But that plant, grown on a double stop, we'll remove down to about there, if not lower. We'll make a plant that will produce decent flowers, but if we can avoid it, I'd rather go for those plants there. So I'm just going to go through, and I generally select, I've grown 70 of this, so I'll try to pick out about 72, 73, where I'll put a couple in the ground in their pots at the end of the row, just in case I need to swap them around, and it tends to sort of keep them in line with them, so we don't end up swapping with a much smaller or weaker plant. There we go, 72 Winholm dying on a wheelbarrow with a bit of trellis on, so I can move them around easier. There's 36 of the smaller ones, which are still fairly sizable but ideal for me, and 36 of the larger, but still nice and soft at the base, nice and green. Both batches will be double stopped, and there'll be a bit, sort of 2 weeks between them, maybe 10 days, just so I stagger them. I don't want all 70 plants flowering exactly at the same time, so it's not a problem having 2 batches on this sort of number. Right, planting out day tomorrow. As you can see, I've now moved the plants that will be planted to the end of each bed, so all the poms in that bed and the pom plants at the end of the row. And the same as you go up. What I'll then do, this evening ready for tomorrow, is start actually just placing them in each hole. And then I'll go along the row and just literally pop them in the ground. I'm going to try to get all the plants planted in one day. I don't like planting them piecemeal fashion, because then you end up watering them, then watering others, and you end up not at a level. If you can get them all in one go, water them all in one go, then they're all at the same sort of stage and it's easy to maintain. You don't have to sort of rebalance the watering. So that's the aim. Whether we can do it, I've not tried quite in this way, but all the organisation before of getting all the plants ready in the holes, all the holes done, should help that. It's also now very windy, the plants are getting a bit knocked about, so I'll be happy to get them in the ground a bit deeper than usual. Right, just as an example for planting out, here's a plant of, this is a big Canora Valentine. It's in a 5-inch pot, it's ready to go out, and you've still got a nice soft fat stem at the base. There is no value in making a hole with a small trowel like that, planting it in there, because it's the level surface. Any water that goes on there is going to run off and move away from the plant roots. So if you don't use one of them, is a holder spade, and dig a proper hole. It's just as quick, it doesn't take any longer than using a trowel. In the bottom of there I will use some lawn builder, which I'll show you later, just as a planting hole. That plant then sits lower down. I'm not planting these yet, so I won't take it out the pot. It sits lower in the hole, and then when it's filled in, like so, it's sitting down. Now what will happen over time is that the soil around the sides as you hoe will fill out and around the plant, and the hole will slowly fill in. And obviously you're burying the bottom third of the plant under the ground. Those will produce basal shoots, it will produce roots and tubers, and there's extra roots to feed the plant when it's growing. The cane that was the marker cane will go back in the ground at the back and provide one of the 3 canes that will support the plant. Once it's in, we'll give it a good watering in. We'll just try to keep that well around the plant. Don't stamp on it, don't firm it in, just fill it back up and the water will settle it in if the cat doesn't dig it out first. Okay.
No, stop it, yeah.
Right, so we've just dropped this is Canora Challenger, every plant in the hole in the pot. And I organise them so that the bigger plants blend through to the smaller plants. Keeps them in batches, so where like Challenger here I'll probably deal with them as 2 batches at 2 sizes. I'm not jumping from one plant to another, I can just work down the row or down the block, deal with the first lot and the second lot and keep them separate. Once the plants are dropped in I just go along, knock the pots off, fill in the holes. It's got to be done fairly systematically to get it all done in a day. This is Tuesday evening, just dropping them in the holes to get a flying start in the morning, of which I'll probably be out here about 5 AM to make sure of getting as much done in the day as possible. That's it, the first one's in. Canora Valentine on the left and right there, 30 plants. And you'll see that what was the marker cane is now at an angle at the back of the hole, and that there's decent dishes around the plants. Now onto the Canora Challenger. Mostly quite small plants. Going up to the end there is Canora Challenger 40. And the canes at the back there form the first cane, or the back cane, of the 3 that I use to tie the plants up. I don't use mesh. Go traditional 3 canes to the plant and at least 3 ties to each plant as well. Those dishes are filling over time with hoeing and general moving, but at least while I'm watering it'll all be going to the roots, and feeding as well. I have put a little extra something in the holes, which is a small experiment. And if it works, I might tell you what it is later on, but first of all I want to see if there is a difference before I recommend anything. So the next shots you'll see, or next week, will be the rest of the holes filled in, planting finished, and the first stage is then of growing these plants on.